family. How are you?
Hello, hello, hello.
Man, it has been a while since it's just been the two of us. Immediately, I'm thinking, I'm hearing songs in my head, like Will Smith, just the two of us, which I know he's not the originator. Anyway, sorry, I digress. But the Will Smith version is what popped into my mind. Anyway, it's been a while since it's been just the two of us. The last few episodes that we've done, we have been interviewing some incredible guests that have taken the time to come and share their story and their knowledge and wisdom and all of that jazz with us. The last two episodes that we had were with our friends Anitra Durand Allen and Harold Allen. She is the creator of The Mom on the Move, and they joined us to talk about the road to infidelity. So if you missed those episodes, make sure that you go back and take a listen to them. There was an amazing conversation. Like, that was a really good conversation, and really appreciate them taking the time to do that for all of you and to share the information and the stories that they had with our audience. So today, we kind of hinted at something a while ago, and life happened and things happened, so we didn't get a chance to get back to it, but we are on track. And raise your hand if you remember what I'm talking about. I was about to say nobody. Nobody? Okay.
I do. I raise my hand. So.
Yes. Would you like to remind the people what we're talking about?
Sure, you remind me, then I'll remind them. Sex?
Yeah.
No one does that.
Let's get it on. Wait. Yes.
That's
okay.
Nice. That's nice.
So, yes, we are talking about sex. We decided, and kind of talked about it, but I think that it kind of came up because we have an amazing marriage. There are a lot of people who have amazing marriages. We're not the only ones. And while our whole platform is talking about building covenant marriages through love and laughter, that is not the only thing that keeps a marriage going.
When she says marriage, she means sex.
Yes. I definitely mean sex.
So go back and listen to the last 15 seconds and replace marriage with sex.
That is from a man's perspective. But yes, we are talking about sex. So love, laughter, communication, all of those things are fundamental to having a healthy and happy marriage, but sex is a really big part of that. And especially, I think, when it comes to the Christian community, it is so taboo to talk about sex that people don't really talk about it before you get married, other than to say you can't do it.
Yeah, just
like, don't do it. This is something reserved for marriage, and we're not going to talk about it, And so then you get married, and you're like, well, what do I do now? And believe it or not, so full transparency, we did not, like, when we were sexually active before we got married. And while we were dating, decided that we needed to stop because it was a salvation issue, that we should not continue to engage in premarital sex. So we decided to abstain, become celibate, all of those good things.
Yeah.
And then we got married.
Yeah.
And would you like to tell them about the wedding night?
Well, sure. So wedding night, after we thank all our guests for coming and celebrating with us, after we send all the people away with presents, after we get her parents up to their hotel suite.
Get them out of our room because they wanted to come visit and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited you're married. We brought all the kids.
Yeah. So after we do that, let's see what happened. Oh, okay. You went to take a bath.
And I fell asleep and almost drowned in the tub.
Yeah. And I laid on the bed, almost passed out. Wait, no. I just laid on the bed and waited for her. I got sleepy too. And then we changed into our wedding night attire. So
Wait, so have you ever wondered what it looks like when you try to squeeze the meat into a sausage casing? It's like doing that at the same time with two people. I've
yeah,
never put on anything so tight in my life. It was
yeah.
such a bad idea.
I almost passed out from, and so I had on like some, I guess lingerie for men, but it was just like really tight boxer shorts, and the the leg part was so tight around my legs. Let's just say I had to peel them off. It was not. It was. They were really tight. I'll tell you that. So,
Yeah, so we'll talk about that in another episode about lingerie selection.
but yes, and so after we got comfortable again in our regular clothes, we ended up watching football
Yes.
and drinking champagne. That was the night we discovered RG3, Robert Griffin III.
Yes, that was a good game.
Um, and then and then we were about to go to sleep, I think. And then we said, oh, wait, are we supposed to have sex?
Yes. We went from having premarital sex to being celibate to getting married, then forgetting to have sex. Like, who forgets to have sex on their wedding night?
People who are not used to having sex.
Right. And I think what we said, or what you said was, wait, can we do this now? And I was like, yes, actually, we can. And it was the most awkward sex we had ever had.
But we had to get through that.
It was so weird.
We had to get through that. We had to get over the hump.
Literally over the hump.
We had to get over the hump so that we could get in the groove. It took us at least for me anyway. It took about 9 to 10 months for me to actually feel comfortable with the idea of us having regular sex.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was pretty much right back into it. Like, yes, this is cool.
It took me a minute just to get over the mental block of, hey, you can't think about this. You can't do anything. This is not on the table. This can't happen. Don't you let it happen. And then going to, well, now you can do whatever you want. Be free.
Yes.
That was a difficult transition for me.
Yes, it was. I mean, it wasn't immediate. Like, I had to keep reminding myself that, yes, this is okay to have sex, to have sex.
It's okay to do sex.
To have sex with your husband. Like, it is okay now. Like, there's nothing taboo about this. And we share our incredibly embarrassing wedding night story, because I think that for us, this span of like the wedding night to, for you, 9 months down the road is pretty typical of most Christian marriages when they start in the beginning, because just from the people that we've talked to and those with whom we've like had these conversations, you are told that you can't have sex, and then you can have sex, but because no one has ever discussed it, you've never been allowed to explore sexuality, you've never been able to figure out what you like, what your partner likes, what turns each other on, what turns you on. When it comes to actually being able to engage in sex, it's more of a mechanical, this is what we're supposed to be doing, and let's just do it and get over the hump. And there's a disconnect between how we are allowed to have sex in marriage and the beauty that sex within marriage is as God designed it. So, we hear the stories about, sex is so beautiful. God has designed this. It's totally okay for you to do it within your marriage covenant. But nobody ever talks about like the logistics of having sex. So nobody really ever talks about how all of that works.
No.
And so with this series, we want to do, it's called Yoked Behind Closed Doors. So we're talking about all things sex within marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All things sex.
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm super excited. Too. Are you really?
I am.
Are you really?
Yeah, because there's just a lot of things that we could talk about.
Yes.
And I don't even know them all.
Yeah. So when we introduce this series and really get into it, make sure that the kids are in bed, you're comfortable, you're ready to listen to what we have to talk about, because it's gonna get a little adult around here.
Rightfully so. It should be adult. It should be adult. It should be, where we're saying words that people are sometimes afraid to say, feel awkward saying.
Yes.
Penis, vagina, vulva, all those good things.
Kindergarten cop. Boys have a penis and girls have a vagina.
I didn't remember that part, but yeah, that part's in the movie.
Yes. But in all seriousness, we, are looking at, trying to examine what God has to say about sex, the freedom that we have within marriage and our sexual and our sex lives, and how you can make sex an incredible part of your marriage, because it is one of the things that connects you. And because of, I think, the way that, sin has entered in the world, sex can also be used as a disconnect. And we want to kind of bring it back to how to make sex a healthy part of your marriage.
Yes. And also open some doors for people that you didn't even know those doors existed.
Oh, yeah. We've opened the doors.
We'd like to.
We have.
There are people, there are Christians who have never been to a sex shop.
Those are not us.
And they probably think it's wrong to go there.
So, and that's one of the things, like, the whole, like, the marriage bed is undefiled. Like, what does that really mean? What does it mean to defile the marriage bed? Like, what are the what things within marriage are greenlit? What things in marriage are like, no, this is not what we were talking about. Sex in marriage can be so much fun. It's a lot of fun when you are comfortable with it, when you are spiritually reconciled with enjoying your spouse within the context of marriage. Not confines. That could be a separate episode. Yeah. Confines in marriage. Nasty.
Oh, goodness. And so exploring your sexuality, with your mate, can actually teach you a lot about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And allow you to answer questions about you that maybe you didn't know the answer to.
Yes. And we will also be exploring a lot of things that, if you have trauma in your past, how that affects your sex life within marriage, and things that you can do to heal from that trauma and to overcome it, to be able to connect with your spouse on a deeper level through intimacy and sexual intercourse. Yeah.
And so, I don't know if this is relevant, but growing up, I think we've said this on previous episode. Mm-hmm. I didn't really have I guess what you will call a healthy introduction to sex. Most of it was learned from, like, me being curious and reading library books,
mm-hmm.
And then sneaking and watching adult videos, which I should not have done, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
And so that was like, or finding some, what they will call a dirty magazine.
I remember dirty magazines.
And, you just go and just look for the pictures. Never read the articles.
Yeah.
Apparently, there were words in those
I
things.
was like,
You
yeah,
never,
the words were just filler. You didn't need the
never read the
words.
words,
You never needed the
and
words.
so sex was always this mysterious, hidden stuff, hidden thing that I could never really learn about. Like I wasn't
Mm,
supposed to know. I wasn't supposed to learn. I wasn't supposed to be curious. I was just supposed to not do it.
right. And I think like my introduction to sex was not healthy either. And like the first time I saw a penis, I was in the sixth grade and I was on a train on a school field trip. And if, that kind of, caught your attention, go back and listen to episode 2 where we talked about how he just wanted me to touch his pee pee. Um,
That is still our most popular episode.
it really is. It's a very catchy title,
It is.
but it deals with being exposed to sexuality at a young age and how that can affect how you view sex as you grow up. And, having dealt with, abuse in college, that affects your, I'll say for myself, it affected, how I viewed sex and how I valued or did not value the sanctity and the sacredness of my body, um, as it related to sex. So, there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about, and I'm really excited about this series. We're going to do some field trips and probably have some demonstrations, just a lot of fun stuff because we really want to help Christian couples navigate healthy and happy sexual relationships, and especially be able to enjoy that particular part of their marriage, because I think it's a very sad thing when you are taught your entire life that you have to wait for marriage, and then when you get married your sex life is like why did I wait for this? It's just like I have so many regrets. I mean, it
Hopefully, it's
happens.
not. Hopefully, it's not a regret that you waited. Maybe the first experience, if it does happen to be on your wedding night, maybe that's might be a little bit of anticlimactic.
Yeah, yeah,
um, but I think there are a lot more people that wait for marriage than um, we realize.
yeah. I mean, I do believe that. I don't believe that waiting for marriage is as taboo as I think it once was, or as taboo as we were made to think that it was. Um, and there's no judgment if you decide to wait, if you don't. Those are individual choices, but every choice that we make has a consequence, um, and a response. So, kind of talking through all of that and navigating, the pros and cons of either side, because, even with us, we didn't wait. And, we still ended up getting married, but we didn't wait. And there were consequences to us not waiting. I think we talked about it early on in our marriage. I was saying that I wish I had, saved myself for you. Like, I wish I could have given that gift to you. There wasn't an option for you because you had been married before, but still, not being able to give you that gift definitely affected me. Like, you never judged me for it, but it still affected me.
Yeah, and I think going into our marriage, I wanted us to be at least as pure as pure as possible.
Yes.
So I think with me, I had to keep myself in check and
Mm-hmm.
watch myself, watch my own, watch how long I kissed you, watch how much I, you know, stood in the embrace.
You brought that.
I had to, I had to. Sometimes I had to peel myself off and say, nope, it's too much embracing.
Yeah.
Time to
Yeah.
time to disengage.
Yeah. Because being honest, I was kind of a temptress. I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not with this whole celibacy thing.
She was.
I
She
was.
eventually learned to love
I did.
it.
I accepted it. I'm not gonna say I loved it. I accepted it.
It's okay.
because, as I mentioned before, it was a salvation issue. And so we'll talk about that too. One of the absolute most popular post on the blog is talking about living together before marriage is not the sin, and talking about the sin of not the sin of premarital cohabitation, but the sin of premarital sex. And so we'll, dive into the differences in those situations and how that is actually it's less of an appearance issue than it is of a salvation issue, and really get into why that is. And finally address that topic live on the air from behind the keyboard.
Sure.
That should be exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we might do a live recording for that one.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Do it with questions and everything.
Yes, we will. So this episode, we just wanted to give you a brief overview of what is coming and let you know what is in store, give you the opportunity to contact us with any questions that you have, anything dealing with sex in marriage, sex outside of marriage, sex stores, toys, all of those things, whatever is on your mind, because we want to make sure that we are providing a biblical and spiritually founded answer to having great sex.
Yes, and informed.
Yeah.
I think part of this stuff, just with sexuality, we just have to be informed. We have to be educated, because a lot of the stuff is not as taboo or shameful. It only has that stigma attached to it because we don't know. We are uninformed, and once we become informed and educated, then we can make a decision as to whether or not we want to participate or engage in such activity. Body paint. I'm sure it tastes awesome. We've never done it, but you know what? I'm looking forward to trying it. I'm just assuming that we're going to do it, but maybe we won't. Who knows?
I don't know. I feel like that is going to involve a tarp because I do not want to have to buy any sheets.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we're going to talk about shopping list, tarp.
With paints with bread.
Bread?
Sop you up.
Oh,
no,
that doesn't even sound appealing.
Hey, you gotta throw the stuff out there to see what sticks.
Paint sticks.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Sorry.
So, as I blush off the scene, welcome to Yoked Behind Closed Doors.
Yes.